College basketball fans, get ready, because tonight's slate is pure madness. 5 games, 10 total picks, and enough storylines to keep your adrenaline running from the first tip-off to the final buzzer. Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score, the home of deep dives, sharp betting insight, and that raw storytelling energy that makes college hoops so electric. Before we get started, make sure you've hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon, because the second these predictions drop, you'll want to be among the first to lock in your plays. And if you're serious about elevating your betting game, we've got exclusive parlay picks, single game locks, and high-confidence value plays waiting for you, all linked down below. Now, let's get into the hardwood, because these 5 matchups on November 13, 2025, are where the numbers meet the noise, and where stories get written. Let's start with Pittsburgh versus West Virginia, the legendary backyard brawl. 2 unbeaten teams walk into the arena, but the way they've reached that record couldn't be more different. West Virginia, under its new leadership, has already crafted an identity that's hard to crack. They slow the game down to a crawl, guard the paint like it's sacred ground, and make opponents work for every inch of space. Their defense forces teams into uncomfortable, half-court possessions, the kind that wear you down and drain the clock. Brennan Lorian anchors this team's physical core, pairing efficient scoring with strong rebounding. Honor Huff gives them that perimeter creation, the kind of guy who can read a defense and pick it apart piece by piece. And then there's Jasper Floyd, the floor general who controls the game tempo, keeps turnovers low, and plays with poise that defines the Mountaineers system. Add in the length and size of Harlan Obayoa protecting the rim, and suddenly, you've got a team that matches up perfectly against Pitt's inside presence. The X factor, Brandon Cummings for Pitt, if he's limited, and that decision might go right down to game time, Pitt's offense becomes predictable, easier to trap, and far more stagnant. West Virginia's deeper bench, combined with their home crowd and that emotional fuel that this rivalry always brings, gives them the edge. The history favors the Mountaineers, and so does the matchup. West Virginia to cover the spread as favorites, that's the first side pick of the night. Now, let's talk totals, because pace dictates everything in this rivalry. West Virginia thrives in slow, grinding battles. Their scores hover around the low 100s, sometimes barely crossing into the 130s. Pitt, on the other hand, can run and shoot a bit more, but against West Virginia, tempo gets dragged down like mud on a rainy court. The Mountaineers will control possessions, limit transition chances, and force long shot clocks. Add the home crowd energy, the physical defense, and possibly a short-handed Pitt offense, and you've got all the ingredients for a low-scoring war. Our total pick, under the projected line. Next up, San Jose State versus Michigan State, a battle between a national powerhouse and a team built on grit. Michigan State has the ranking, the home floor, and the tradition, but what they haven't shown yet is dominance. They've won, yes, but through methodical basketball, long possessions, strong rebounding, and defense-first execution. They've controlled games without blowing teams out, and that matters when you see a spread sitting in the mid-20s. San Jose State enters with 2 losses, but don't underestimate their backbone. This team doesn't fade easily. They've hung tough against Utah and UC Santa Barbara, both games tight until late. Their new transfer guard pushes the tempo just enough, driving to the rim with no hesitation. Their forwards grind on the glass, finishing plays through contact. Even with 1 rotation wing sidelined, they've maintained structure. Michigan State's biggest weakness so far has been streaky shooting, especially from deep. That means long, grinding possessions, which also means fewer chances to separate by massive margins. San Jose State has the fight and physicality to stay within the number. Our side pick, San Jose State to cover as underdogs. As for the total, expect fireworks compared to the spread. The number sits in the 140s, and San Jose State games have consistently climbed higher. Their defense leaks points, but their offense refuses to quit. They drive hard, attack the rim, and never look intimidated. Michigan State, meanwhile, might not shoot lights out from three, but they make up for it with second chance points, free throws, and steady scoring inside. Every foul stops the clock, every rebound extends possessions, and even in a slower-paced game, the scoreboard keeps moving. With both teams capable of scoring in the paint and drawing whistles, this total looks primed to go over. Now, shift your focus to Purdue versus Alabama, a clash of two very different basketball philosophies. Purdue enters with rhythm, structure, and a clear sense of who they are. Their offense flows like a symphony, precise, deliberate, and effective. The ball moves through multiple hands before finding the open man. Their backcourt controls tempo, their wings execute with confidence, and their center keeps the interior stable. With their senior forward returning tonight, they gain even more power and leadership. Alabama, though, plays the opposite way, chaos and pace. They push the floor, shoot early threes, and force tempo. They're at home, heavily favored, but the defense has shown leaks. Two of their rotation players are still dealing with injuries, and that matters against a team as balanced as Purdue. The Boilermakers have already proven they can handle high-pressure environments and maintain poise in fast-paced games. When you give a composed, well-coached team points, you're giving them a gift. Purdue doesn't need to dominate. They just need to stay steady, and that's exactly what they do best. Purdue to cover as underdogs is the side pick here. As for the total, you can feel the offensive energy before the ball even tips. Alabama thrives on pace, Purdue thrives on execution, and both have rosters capable of turning this into a shootout. Alabama's transition game will push the pace early, while Purdue will counter with efficient half-court scoring. Recent matchups between teams like this tend to soar over totals, and with both squads featuring dynamic guards and clean perimeter shooting, there's more reason to expect scoring runs than defensive locks. Even if one side cools off, the other will keep pressing the pace. Over the projected total, that's the play. Now we move to Loyola Chicago versus Wichita State, a game that feels like a reality check for both programs. Wichita State has found something that works. Their first two games showed an identity rooted in defense, balance, and rebounding. They move the ball with patience and make opponents earn every point. Loyola, on the other hand, is still searching. Their offense hasn't found consistency, their rebounding lags, and their defense folds under pressure. When they fall behind, they struggle to recover. Wichita's physical playstyle feeds off exactly that kind of vulnerability. They attack the glass relentlessly, limit opponents to one look, and control pace. Loyola's biggest weakness, defensive rebounding, becomes Wichita's biggest weapon. With both teams healthy and lineups confirmed, there's a clear stylistic divide. Wichita knows what they are. Loyola doesn't. That usually determines outcomes in early season matchups like this. Wichita State to cover as favorites is the full game side pick. And when you turn to the total, the story writes itself. Wichita scores efficiently, but not fast. Loyola drags possessions, looking for shots that just don't fall often enough. Half-court games limit transition runs and quick scoring bursts, exactly the kind of rhythm that drives totals under. Wichita's defense contests everything. Loyola's offense lacks rhythm. And when you pair those two traits, you get long possessions, missed threes, and physical play in the paint. It's a grinder's game, not a scorer's showcase. The under is the move. Finally, we've got Cal versus Kansas State, two undefeated squads, but one with far more stability. Kansas State has looked sharp, posting 93 and 98 points in their first two outings. Their spacing is clean, their ball movement fluid, and every player understands their role. They've been efficient from deep and ruthless in transition. Meanwhile, Cal's 3-0 record looks good on paper, but they've yet to face a road test. Every win came at home. And now, with key rotation players like Symmetry Carr, DJ Campbell, and Sammy Yan all carrying injury designations. With no clear updates on availability, this trip gets even tougher. Kansas State has no such concerns, with their rotation intact and ready to roll. Kansas State's home court advantage adds another layer. Their energy, their crowd, and their confidence all peak when they play in front of their fans. Cal might bring effort, but Kansas State brings execution. The Wildcats to cover as favorites is the play here. As for the total, the odds makers are daring you to believe in a track meet. The number sits high, based on early scoring data. But both teams also defend better than the box score shows. Cal has kept opponents contained, Kansas State has tightened their rotations, and with depth questions lingering on Cal's side, we could see longer possessions and fewer transition bursts. It's easy to assume a scoring explosion, but this matchup points toward discipline and control. The under is our total pick here. And that wraps it up. 5 matchups, 10 total picks, and a full night of college hoops intensity. If you made it this far, you're not just watching, you're learning how to read the game beyond the surface. So now it's your turn. Drop a comment below. Which of these picks do you agree with, and which ones are you fading? And if there's another matchup you want to see broken down next, let us know. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join the Beyond the Box Score family. Because every night brings new angles, new data, and new ways to cash out smarter. Until next time, play sharp, stay disciplined, and as always, see you beyond the box score.